So the title of our presentation is The Magic of Musical Exposure. My name is Shad, and I'm a bio major and a junior at the college.
And I'm Jasmine, I'm a sophomore, and I'm newly admitted into the business school. So one of the reasons why we want to talk about music is we really feel like it's relevant for all college students. We all have music in our daily lives, and one of the things between me and Shad, it's right away we realized it's one of those things that connected us, was our love for music. So we really want to kind of bring across this idea that music, whether you know it or not, there's a lot of literature that shows that music has improvements in your academic performance, your emotional well-being, and overall health. So something we're exposed to on a daily basis actually has really good health benefits for you.
So the first thing that I want to talk about is that the positive effects of music are actually mediated via emotion. And what I mean by that, I'll go a bit more into. So a 2011 study actually showed that music exposure triggers dopamine release in different parts of the brain. So if you actually look at the pictures, the fMRI pictures on the left, you see in different parts of the brain you get different levels and different intensities of dopamine release. And the graphs on the right are a bit complicated, but just to summarize, the participants were told to identify two different points in a song. The neutral portions and the pleasure-inducing portions, the chills portions. And they actually saw that during the chills portions, there was an increase in dopamine levels. And that's correlated with higher pleasure levels, lower anxiety, lower depression, overall positive health. And what that does, it leads to a cascade of other benefits, one of which is academics. So our overall theory that we want to put forth and that scientists have postulated is that music exposure leads to emotional well-being, which then leads to a whole cascade of other benefits, one of which is academics. And we focus on academics here because that's very relevant to us college students.
So first, I want to talk about just the general emotional benefits of listening to music. So in a Pennsylvania State University study, they took college students and had them keep a diary of their music exposure for 2 weeks. So what they reported were what music they listened to, how long, what they were doing when they listened to the music, and their mood before and after. And what the diary really showed was that college students were more positive. They reported things like being joyful or calm, stuff like that after they listened to music. And really what they learned is they realized as college students listen to music during all sorts of activities, whether it's just walking through campus, it's making your bed in your room, anything. It really serves a utilitarian role in a college daily student's life. So it's all around us, it plays in Cox, it's everywhere. So that's something they noticed. There was another, so we looked at kind of the positive benefits and how college students reported, you know, the health benefits of, the emotional health benefits of music. This also shows how it decreases your negative benefits. So it's a study using music therapy on people with depression and stuff like that. So what we have are college students, an experimental group and a control group, so you can kind of see the layout of the study. They used 80 college students, and they took their self-rating depression and mental health scores before and after music exposure or a relaxing rest situation. And so for the intervention of the music therapy, the college students were exposed to it was adjusted like a chill, just everyone together listening to music. They also had a music rhythm kind of lesson in how to appreciate music, and then they also had them draw while they were listening to music. And so the students reported lower depression and higher mental scores after these group music therapy sessions. So it really goes to show that music does have positive health benefits, and then it also reduces your negative benefits.
So we just talked about the emotional benefits of music, so what about the academic benefits? So music training's effect on IQ. A 2004 study actually showed that a year of music lessons caused a significant increase in IQ versus the control group. And in the control group, we either had people doing non-musical activities or not listening to, not taking music lessons at all. And if you actually look at the graph on the bottom left, you see that those children who did keyboard lessons or voice lessons had a greater increase in IQ than those who did drama or no lessons at all. And they actually found that there was a dose-dependent relationship. And what I mean by that is the longer the period of time you took the lessons for, the greater the increase in IQ. And a 2012 study, so it's a very recent and relevant study, it showed that musically trained children have better vocabulary and reasoning skills than their non-musical counterparts. And you actually just see that at the bottom right over here. The musically trained children are shaded, and you see that they perform significantly better than the untrained children. So that was performing and composing music. What about listening to music? So this is termed the Mozart effect. The 1993, this was a pivotal and groundbreaking study. It was done with college students, so again, very relevant. And they showed that listening to Mozart for as little as 10 minutes caused a significant increase in spatial and temporal reasoning skills. And if you actually look at the graph on the bottom left, you see that those who listen to music did better on the puzzles and on the reasoning skills than those who either just did relaxation therapy or those who sat in silence. And if you look at 2007, a similar study was done again with undergraduates, and it showed again that listening to Mozart caused an increase in IQ. But here's the catch, only when there was an increase, parallel increase in emotions. So again, that corroborates our theory that we put forth, which is that music exposure leads to emotional benefits, which then leads to cascade of benefits, one of which is academics. And this graph over here is especially interesting. They saw that different types of music affects us in different ways. So in this particular study, the fast tempo music caused a greater increase in spatial ability scores than slow tempo music. And the interesting part again is that they were actually able to show that participants, when they listened to the fast tempo music in this study, they had a greater increase in positive emotion. So again, the positive emotion, so what's interesting is the emotion is basically the mediator, it's the middleman between music and academic performance. When you get greater increase in positive emotional health, you get a greater increase in academic benefit.
So with all this data on how music kind of benefits you, we really want to let you know the resources that are available here at Emory. So for you two, there's always the option of getting a major or minor in music or even dance if you wanted to, which I just couldn't do because I'm not that talented. You also, if you're advanced, you can practice or take tours with the ensembles on campus. For beginners or people that are kind of in the middle, there are private lessons for credit or for enjoyment. I've had friends that do this and love it. Or there's a whole bunch of a cappella groups that you can perform. Two of the ones we noted are duly noted, no strings attached. They actually have a lot of spring concerts coming up, so you can look out for those. And then if you're like me and have absolutely no musical talent and just like to listen, on Fridays, the first Friday of every month, we have what's called First Friday on the Duck Terraces, and that's when all the a cappella groups come out and perform for you. Or if not, you can stick to listening to music in the shower and singing as much as you want.
So the last thing we want to talk about is the three main points we want to remember from this presentation. First of all, music is particularly beneficial for our demographic, for college students, and that's because it doesn't take a lot of time, it's very manageable, it's also very manageable in terms of expenses. And there's a lot of literature out there connecting college students, music, and a whole host of other benefits. And the second thing, like we talked about, is that it improves emotional health. So you get an increase in mood enhancement, you get a decrease in anxiety, decrease in depression, and also academic indicators like IQ, verbal skills, vocabulary, things like that. And the very last thing is the benefits of music are mediated through emotional benefits. So there's a whole host of benefits that we talked about. So if you actually look at long-term benefits, you see lower alcohol abuse, lower drug abuse, lower arrests. You even see increased cardiovascular health. And these might seem a bit odd, but it's not. It makes sense when you think about the fact that emotion is the mediator. So you get music exposure, you get positive emotional health, and then it leads to a whole bunch of other long-term positive effects, one of which we talked about, which was academics. So with that, we're going to end our presentation. We have our works cited slide coming up. So we have our primary sources and our secondary sources. So thank you.